do Tez Johnson.
Okay,
now,
let's do it.
If you stand next to Tez Johnson, he plays for Oregon. If you stand next to him, you would think he was a soccer player. You would think he was just a track star. He's not tall. He doesn't have any meat on him. He's only 165 pounds, but he runs a 4.33 in the 40. I mean, let that digest a minute. He caught everything thrown to him. And not only that, at some point, I was near a scout and I asked him about him. He said, I don't think anybody's covered him since he's been here. He's got great acceleration and he accelerates and it looks like he's just jogging and then all of a sudden he's in full speed really quickly. What that does is that creates a significant edge over the defenders that's trying to guard him. He's got really good body control and he's made a lot of catches that are on bad balls. So he's able to contort his body or adjust his body. And what they used him for a lot was back shoulder throws. But his elite speed is what really makes him stand out. Do you know the story about him and Bo Nix?
No, I don't.
So when Tez Johnson was 15, his father committed suicide. His mother struggled with having siblings. And Bo Nix was Johnson's high school football coach. They took him in for a week. Then that became a month. And that became 6 months. And after a while, they adopted him.
Oh.
So he became Bo Nix's stepbrother. And they won a state championship when Bo was a senior and Tez was a junior. Bo went to Auburn. Tez went to Troy. And then they both went in the transfer portal and both ended up at Oregon playing again together. And so now Bo is at Denver and, you know, there's a lot of speculation will the Broncos draft him. I think he's a third-round pick. He's one of those real small guys that are really, really quick and can run well. And his route running is just exceptional. I mean, he's just a precise route runner. He's got a lot of routes in his route tree. He's able to create separation. If you want to do Tez Johnson highlights on YouTube or Tez Johnson Senior Bowl highlights on YouTube, he's like wide open most of the time when he does his breaks because everybody bites on his fakes. Everybody. And he'll have double and triple fakes. He'll have fakes that are at one level, then he'll go to another level and have another fake. His hands are excellent. And one thing that impressed me about him was his ability to be able to track the ball once it's in the air. You see him taking his route and breaking off from it because the ball's not going where he's going. So he's adjusting him to go where the ball is. I thought that was mature for a pass catcher coming out of college. Precise route runner, great body control. Now his yards after contact aren't that great because if you get a hand on him, he'll go down. But the trick is not to be caught, to be able to be in an area where you can be tackled. But I think he'd be an exceptional guy to bring in. He'd be a slot guy, but Victor Cruz was a small guy like that could run good routes. You know, the league is full of guys like that. Danny Amendola.
Yeah, and another name, everything you're talking to me about, Tez Johnson, just makes me really think about Tank Dell and the way that, you know, his stature, I think he was like, what Tank Dell's probably the same, about 5'9", 165, like small guy, but you can't cover him. And a lot of people question, well, is this even going to work in the NFL? And obviously he's had some injuries now and all that kind of stuff, which is what people were worried about. But when healthy, damn, the dude can play.
Yeah. Yeah. Years and years ago, I met Don Maynard, who's in the Hall of Fame. He played for the New York Jets. And I asked him what his ability was. He said, my ability was not to be tackled. He said, that was my whole game plan, was not to be tackled, because he was 6 foot, 170 pounds. Even when I met him, he was still a scrawny guy, from Texas. He said, what I didn't want was to be tackled. So I ran my routes and I used my speed and I used my body so that I could either go out of bounds or that I could be in the open to where I could run a lot and try not to be tackled. And so, and if you notice, like Russell's not a big guy. He runs out of bounds a lot. He slides a lot. He doesn't get tackled except being sacked. He doesn't tackle because he knows his body can't take the beating. And so like Tank Dell and Tez Johnson, I think they use the sideline a lot. I think they use the turf a lot because they know once you get a hold of him, they're not going to fight. They're not going to gain a bunch of yardage. They're going to go down. They're going to get tackled. But you got to use your speed first. And this guy's got lightning speed.
Yeah, I think the king, in my mind, of doing that type of thing right now in the NFL, and he's been around forever, feels like, is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has that speed, the route running, and when he's about to get hit, he doesn't get hit. He goes right down and gets up to play another down, and he's talked about that. I know he said, hey, listen, I want my career to last as long as possible. I'm not out here taking hits from these guys because he's only, 5'9". He's not a big dude either, so that is definitely how you when you're a smaller stature player in the NFL, go down, avoid the hits, and extend your career. So yeah, I definitely think these guys can hit, and I've been excited about what I've heard about Tez Johnson.
Yeah, I think third round will be about the and either early or late, but that would be a good pickup.